Good afternoon. So I know I've covered, watering just a bunch of times in the past, but I think there's still some maybe confusion about my watering practices. I mean, I know, a lot of folks get the idea that you're supposed to do infrequent, deep thorough watering. Um, that practice isn't entirely wrong. I mean, it really depends on your climate and your soil. But yeah, I'm telling you, for folks in the Central Valley, because of our clay soil, your tropical fruit trees will greatly benefit from very frequent, you're talking every hour if possible, small amount of water. It's just like, like you and I, when we're thirsty, we're probably not gonna drink a big bottle of water. And instead, we're probably gonna drink, water throughout the day as we're thirsty. The same concept applies to the trees. These guys would much prefer, uh, you know, getting water every hour, even if it means a little bit of water, just enough to really penetrate the soil. I mean, these guys would definitely appreciate it, especially when it's like in the middle of the day. So yeah, I mean, my watering system, I've got it on again. Generally in the summer months, every single hour in the front yard, 5 minutes per watering session. In the backyard, right now 3 or 4 minutes, and then I increase it maybe to like 5 or 6 minutes if I need to, if I feel that it gets hot. But it's easy for me to do so. But yeah, I'm telling you, this is what you can expect when you when you water it where, well, essentially what you're doing is you're mimicking nature. I mean, it rains a lot where these guys are native to. It doesn't rain like it doesn't rain all at once and then the next day it rains again. It rains a lot and then it stops and then rains again the next hour. So that's the whole idea. So if you come here, this is what you can expect, really. Yeah, I mean, like the mangoes, finally, a lot of them have dropped. So these ones, the Lord, I mean, this guy, I wouldn't be surprised if it drops. Yeah, okay, I just did it out. Yeah, the large ones definitely will stay. Um, yeah, yeah, this is really what you can expect. I mean, yeah, really, when it comes to the clay soil, oh, it looks like this one dropped, which is fine. Yeah, this is to be expected. When it comes to clay soil, okay, if you do any deep watering, maybe like once a week, it's practically a death sentence. I mean, if you are, even though if you're in the Central Valley and you've got like great sandy loam soil, then yeah, no, you definitely can get away with that. Though in that case, I think it would be drying really quick just because the water is just gonna drain down. But the problem with clay soil, okay, which is for the most of us, is the roots of these trees, they need to breathe. I mean, most tropical fruit trees, just about all tropical trees, the roots are shallow. You're talking maybe like 95% of the roots, okay, of a tropical fruit tree is near the top 2 foot worth of dirt. That's where there's plenty of oxygen. The roots need to breathe. And when you're flooding that through like deep watering, well, I mean, how's the tree going to breathe? And who knows how long that water is going to stay because it's clay soil. So if you come here, let me show you some more. Yeah, look, this particular branch. I mean, it's thin so much so that it's got maybe like a mango per branch now, which is awesome. Yeah, Kent mango, one of the larger varieties. So consistency is key, okay? Yeah, again, front yard, all fully automated. Including the containers, all fully automated. Look, check it out. This is my setup. Just this section alone. Got the automatic timer on here. And then I've got a little line here going to this side. And containers. Yeah, I mean, this is hands off. Now, let's go to the back. So again, consistency, okay? Now, unfortunately, this is what happens when it's not getting consistent amount of water. Wax Jambu. My previous video, I mean, this guy was loaded. Every branch, there were like dozens of flowers. My fault. Yeah, I know. I made the mistake of configuring my timer in such a way where these pots, these containers trees, were only getting like 1 minute of water per hour. Not enough. That's not even bare minimum. That's just not enough. I mean, imagine you're like so thirsty because it's like 100 degrees outside, and you've got like a couple of drops of water an hour. Sorry. But yeah, no, this was what happened. I mean, this guy like stressed out so much, it's practically balding. I mean, a lot of the leaves fell. Thankfully, I caught the mistake in time, like a week later. And then I since increased my water to, again, 3 to 4 minutes now. And he's okay now. Thankfully, some of the flowers have stayed. That's kind of like what you're seeing here. Yeah, these guys will become fruit in the next couple of weeks, well, maybe a month or so. But yeah, I mean, it happens. So now, specific to container, I wanted to give you like a little tip. So with containers, I find the use of these little sprinkler systems are slightly better than the bubbler systems. The bubbler systems, all it does is it just squirts out water in a little small zone. Whereas with the sprinkler system, the way that I've got it near the center, it actually gets just about all of the container. So most of the region does get the water as opposed to just one little small section. So for containers, I try to use the sprinkler systems. I find that yeah, the tree just responds better just because it's able to get to all the container. And now notice on some of these here, I've got what I like to refer to as canary plants. Plants that aren't really even in the container. These are just simply sitting on top of the container, on top of the mulch, and they're living. They're not dying. But these will be the first one to go, as in show signs of stress, if this section doesn't get enough water. So I'm essentially using these as indicators of when I need to maybe add more water to these trees. But yeah, now, I mean, you could do that with any plant, but that's just a little tip. Yeah, especially in container, okay? These guys, the roots are stuck to the containers. They are confined to the space. They rely on you. So if you made a mistake, the trees will suffer for it. You know, unfortunately, that's the deal. Yeah. And now look, I mean, if you've noticed basically about all parts of the container, it's nice and moist. That's again because I'm using the sprinkler systems. So now, actually, let me show you. In the very beginning, this is my main. This is my main water for the backyard. I did in the very beginning dug a ditch here underneath the cover patio here, distributed the pipes throughout the sections of my yard, one on this other side and the other on the other side, just because if I hadn't done so, I mean, you would see like hoses coming out of there. It's just not cool. So in the very beginning, I did go to the hassle of rerouting my main water to these guys here. Yeah, there's one here, another one over there. Now, if you come here, this is my setup. I've been really happy with this particular brand. This is by Melnor. They make these pretty excellent timers, water timers. Now, this particular model, this is actually the one that caused me to misconfigure the watering schedule and give the wax shampoo very little amount of water. This particular one has two zones, one for the trees and a smaller one, another one here that's dripping here for my greenhouse. There's a misting station in there that kicks in and keeps the greenhouse nice and humid. So they're essentially separate timers. But now, if you notice this little guy here, this little metal thingy, this is to prevent what's called water hammer. Because of the way the water timer works, it almost instantaneously opens and closes the valve. Unlike the regular valves where, when you close it, it takes a little bit to close it. Whereas this, it either opens or closes like almost instantaneously. That creates a lot of stress on the pipes, a big knocking noise, just because generally there's some air cushion that cushions the water. So this is what that particular device does. It's essentially a water hammer arrestor. But yeah, I've got one on each side. Prevents the water knocking effect. So now, here, let me turn on the water for you. I want to show you this. Yeah, for, if you come here, yeah, for containers, yeah, again, I like to use these sprinkler systems just because it gets a lot of surface area. And then for the ground, for the in-ground, let me show you. Unfortunately, it's on the other side, but this is maybe a good example. Let's pretend this guy is in the ground. This is what I have actually. In near each of my tree, I've got these blubber systems. That one is not on. But anyway, I've got them on like that. And in this case, I have two. But this, just imagine this is in the ground. This is essentially what you're seeing. So yeah, I mean, it keeps it nice and cool and hydrated, again, every hour. And I'll be sure to include all the irrigation supplies in the description of the video. But a lot of these were just purchased from my local big box store. So yeah, now that is, that's really what's needed is just this setup. Completely hands-free and allows the trees to stay hydrated even though it's, hot. So now, just make sure you've configured it correctly because it is relying on you, the trees that is, especially when it's hot. Yeah, trees, they do need a lot of water, okay? Now, in my case, when these guys, actually, if you come here, when these trees, before I had all this, okay? Before I had all these trees, You want to know what my water usage situation was? When I had nice lawn back here and the front, I was actually using more water than I am now. I mean, I want to say my last water bill was like $79, and that's household usage. I estimate maybe half of my water usage is to the yard, but that's not bad. Um, and again, I'm using far less water now than when I had grass. And I'm growing all these tropical fruit trees that will feed me and the chickens. But yeah, like look at how wet it is. I mean, this is what the trees would prefer. I mean, when the ground is wet like that, it also evaporates the moisture from the mulch, and therefore creating a little bubble of humidity. It also helps too that you've got like the taller canopy trees up there that traps in the humidity, and this is what you can expect. Yeah, these guys, they expect treat every time I come in here. But if you come in here, I wanted to show you, this is what you can kind of expect. Let me close the doors before they escape. After years and years, yeah, this is what you can expect. I mean, this is, in the very beginning, before I set up all this irrigation system, it was a manual process. I was watering it, consistently. But now that I've got all these bubbler systems here, keeping the zones nice and moist. And now notice this particular water, the way I've got it, it's actually to accommodate the Kiosavar mango here and also the Brewster lychee here. And then as a result, as the trees are fruiting, like what you see here, and also what you see here, they do require a lot of water, okay? And if not, at this particular stage, okay, at this particular stage where the trees are fruiting, if they are water stressed, one of the first things they would do is they would drop the fruit. Any fruit that's on it, they will drop, and also the leaves. So yeah, so staying hydrated is, kind of a big deal for trees. I guess, as with anything else. Yeah. But yeah, that's really the gist of it. I mean, just water your tree often, very often. Automate as much as you can if possible. Yes, it is kind of maybe a pain to set this up. I mean, I've got hoses spread throughout the yard and little distribution hoses coming out of there along with the low bubbler systems here. But it's well worth it. This is just a one-time deal, and the trees really would appreciate the water. Yeah. So, all right. Have a good afternoon.